We're trying to show you the things that you need to go off and do to build to where you want to go in the health and the wealth side.
Welcome to the good life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast, where we talk all things health and wealth. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. I got Coach Kabi in the building. Say what up, Coach.
What up, dope? Period. That's it.
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
That's all you get right now.
Mostly because of the limitations of my mic.
We've gone through it. We've learned. We've adapted. We've changed just for the betterment of you, the listener, so you would not have to hear Kabi's loud, incessant yelling into a mic.
They wouldn't hear it anyway. That's the whole point.
True. It cut out. But anyway, we're back, y'all. We're excited again for another week. Welcome to episode 146.
That's right.
Man, appreciate everybody that's been rocking and rolling with us. As always, we love the engagement. Everybody in the Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals Facebook group. Appreciate you guys for being in here. Instagram, TikTok, wherever you're watching this right now. Welcome. We definitely appreciate you guys being here and supporting. And again, as we're wrapping up this year, 2023, we just want to continue to come and give you what you need to make sure that you're designing your ideal life, designing a life you don't
Young Dougal in the house.
Young Dougal in the building, man. We got some special stuff in store for y'all coming up, man. I'm fired up. I'm super excited. How's your week been, man? How you feeling?
Week has been fantastic. Coming off, got the weekly 36 going this week after the 3-day fast to start off the month. As you guys may or may not know, CTN Health and Wealth Academy will be going strong. Actually, you don't know because I really haven't said that. We'll be going strong. One of the things we'll be participating is a 3-day fast every beginning of every month, the first week or two of them every month. And then at the weekly 36 to make sure that we keep the system strong and good. And then on top of that, we're going to be building. So definitely pay attention here to the health episode, foundational health episode that will be running out. And you guys will see it. Also, let me know if I should add your Instagram, particularly if you're not on my close friends list. It ain't got nothing about us being close friends, actually. It's just you get to see the behind the scenes of some of the stuff that I don't want to put out to the public necessarily. I don't want to crowd their space. Actually, it's not really about them. It's to give you the exclusive of what I'm doing, the little recipes that I'm putting on, the little thoughts that I had throughout the day. So we're going to be putting that out there consistently next year coming out. So make sure you tap into that. Doing pretty good, man. How you doing, OG?
I'm great, man. I'm great. And I love that part. Because again, you're doing that over on IG, get on your close friends list. I was just telling TikTok the same thing. Next year, 2024, TikTok, you're going to get all the behind the scenes footage. I'm going to be probably going live. I haven't decided if I want to make this commitment. You know, we got to make commitments here on the Good Life, right? That's really what this is about. I haven't decided if I want to make the commitment to go live 6 days a week, but I have a feeling that I'm leaning towards that over on TikTok. I'm going to go live every single day, give myself a Sabbath, give myself a rest day, but we're going to go live, give you the behind the scenes so you can see what it's like to build a business, see what it's like to make phone calls, see what it's like to have appointments. When you're just sitting around, sometimes you don't know what's happening with other entrepreneurs and other people that are building the business and seeing what the work is like behind the scenes. TikTok is going to get a lot of that next year in 2024. So stay tuned, y'all, because we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Obviously, Kabi and I want to make sure you're getting more and more exclusive content and insight from us. That being said, the week is going well. After that, that first 3-day reset, right? With that, I did the water fast on that time. Coming out of that, I took our initial, I don't know if you remember, right? Our initial like kind of 90-day was, hey, 80% of our food being meat and fruit, right? Taking away sugar, taking away refined flour, grains, right? Taking all that stuff out. So that's actually what I've been doing since the water fast. I've been on nothing but meat, vegetable, a lot of fruit, and no sugar, no grains. So it's been really good. I feel good.
How you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Tons of energy. That bloating in my stomach went down right away, right?
Oof.
Just
Oof.
solid 7 days, right? Just
Mm.
goes from the little pouch a little bit. You can see it. I was like, some fried food right before, and then all of a sudden it just slims right down in 7 days. How quickly that happens, but man, tons of energy, just feeling good, man.
That's good. That's good. I think he's rolling, man. The deeper you go, guys. Listen, man. This is something we're gonna go real deep with. I've skimmed the surface, I believe, with a lot of you guys. And next year, we're gonna go a lot deeper with this because it's something I realized that, you know, rather than going a mile wide, we got to go a mile deep with this. And the
Mm,
more we pay attention, there's a lot more guys that I haven't even really started to share with you guys that I've been working on that front. And I think it's really important. Funny piece, man. I'll put this out here because I doubt that she's listening to the show. And quite frankly, if she is, it's nothing but love. But I had a friend post something, right? Hey, Dougal on it too. Dougal on it
shit.
too. Guys, Dougal will be joining us probably somewhere around once a month, to go ahead and drop the corporate athlete perspective. Both OG Chris and I are fully on the entrepreneurship side. Young Dougal is actually in the works here in the corporate athlete side, doing all the things we do. So he's almost a better example in terms of being a father of three, a husband of one, and a friend of many. And
Mm. That husband of one. That's a good distinction there.
I do come from Africa, so I gotta let
Let's air that
I
out
gotta
right
let
now.
y'all know. That's the distinction right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, totally lost my train of thought right there. But
You say you
so
want
a
to go
friend of mine,
deep. You say you want to go deep. Oh well, yeah,
yeah,
you're
we're
going
gonna go
into
real
story.
deep. But a friend that posted, "Oh, I've been on this gut, restoration, and it's been so good for me." Blah 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 blah, and being led by some nutritionist. Blah 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 blah. Some white lady nutritionist. Nothing against my white lady nutritionist friends, but. So I was like, oh, this looks pretty familiar. So I hit her up. I was like, oh, so what are you doing? What are you eating? Guess what she's doing?
What?
The exact same thing I've been talking about for years.
Mm.
And I just laid out this whole thing, explained it to me like I ain't never heard of it before, and going out like, oh God, so crazy. Like no grains, no dairy, all of it. I was like, oh, so we've been eating, basically just vegetables and meat and fish, and it's been life changing for me. Like, have you ever thought about, bro? I was like, word.
Those are the ones that make you want to pull your hair out. It's like, I've been telling you this for years,
I've
but I'm glad you got
literally ran an ad for 2 months on this, right?
it.
Like last time I saw you in person, we had a cookout, and I told you all I could eat was the meat because I can't eat anything else, right? You brought over all this stuff, and I told you I couldn't eat it because of what I was doing. Oh Lord, have mercy, Jay. Oh man, that's the one that made me just sit there real quick and just stare at my phone for a second, man. I was just like, wow,
Yeah, yeah, it
wow,
happens. It happens across the board. I've had similar type of experiences, and I just chalk it up to like I planted the seed, somebody else watered it. It's all good, right? However you get
yeah,
there is how
and they
you
took
get
the
there.
money. It's
They
all
took
good.
the money too, right? But it's all good. We got other seed planted, right? Hopefully, we get a chance to water that one and collect that
Craziness,
harvest.
bro. Hit me and then hit me with like, oh, have you?
Have
I
you
meant
heard?
to ask you. I meant to ask you. What are your thoughts on bone broth? I said, God have mercy. What I'm saying? So I just sent her a screenshot for my book. I was like, feel free to pick it up.
That's too
What
funny.
I'm saying? I
That's
dropped this in 2019. I'm gonna drop another one in 2024, just in
that's too
case.
that's too funny. That's too
But
funny.
hey, man, that's the game, bro. That's the game we're in, guys. That's the game we're in.
That is. And wherever you get the information, obviously we'd love it if you got it from us. But at the end of the day, we want to see change and impact to make sure that, again, you are putting yourself in a position to design a life you don't need to break from, right? Your
That's
ideal
right.
life. So let's go do that. Shout out to Dougal over there. Yep. Sleep is important. I just saw we're going to talk about LeBron a little bit later in the show, but I just saw a post for LeBron saying that how sleep is the most important thing to him. He said
Mm.
for his health, sleep is the most important thing. He's like, I get my 8 hours, and then he just goes in and he's like, it rejuvenates my mind, rejuvenates my body. I get all the energy, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
it brought me back to how we were just talking about that foundational cash flow, right? Energy cash flow, sleep being one of those major things. So obviously
Yeah.
LeBron coming out and co-signing that, big deal.
Yeah. 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 And sleep is one of those um unique three in that it just it's tough. There is no real duplicate. Like there's nothing that can replace it, right? Food is a little up in the, it's nothing that can replace it. So that's one of the ones that, a lot of folks will point to. And what I say, man, I believe that we are actually of the spirit realm, the sleep realm. And we got to go back and kind of like touch base. It's kind of like whatever tag or whatever you play in school, right? You have to go back and touch base to be rejuvenated, to be able to function in this realm, which is not actually the realm that we're from, or we're borrowing time in this realm. Okay. We always have to return back to the spirit realm, and that's our permanent place of residence. So makes a lot of sense. He also has the chambers and all the, I'm sure he has a whole sleep mechanism set up, in his place. I heard he's also a great napper too. I heard he's also a great napper. Yeah, I heard he's a great napper.
What's your thoughts on napping? I'm not a napper. I've never been able to. If I've ever tried to nap, I've always woken up more tired, like not rejuvenated. Sometimes I'll nap. I've tried to nap in the past at like a early evening type of thing, and I'm out for the night. Like there's no napping.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's an art form. I myself have not necessarily mastered it, although recently I've been able to catch the key there is you want to get in and out, right? I believe somewhere around 20 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. And so for you to come back and I think done correctly, it's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful if done correctly. But not everybody has mastered it. And if you're not one of the ones, either work on it or don't do it. Right? Either work on it or don't do it. What's going on, my guy? Napping doesn't work for me. Well,
I'm
maybe it doesn't
Google.
now, but again, that's young Dougal out here. So now napping doesn't work for him. But doesn't work, but like I said, it's a skill. It's a skill.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, y'all, thank you for tuning in back to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. If you want more, you can catch us over on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all your favorite streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. By the way, if you join our Facebook group, Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals, we're over there live every week during these episodes. Also, you can chat with us, and we host a bunch of cool workshops and give you a lot of insider tips. So it's not just a group over there. It's a community, common unity. It's a community for self-improvement. So join and live the good life. Now, little word from my ad
bars. Are you ready to level up your style? The Good Life Visual Audio Podcast, that is a store, just dropped this first piece of merch, an exclusive Follow the Money t-shirt. All right. It's not just clothing. I need y'all to understand that it's actually a statement of your commitment to mastering your health and wealth and to be part of the movement. I need you guys to go ahead and get yours today. I've been telling you this for weeks. Go ahead and do this now. Just visit the store. The description will be somewhere around here. If you're watching this live, go ahead and hop in the group, and the description will be there. In fact, if you hop in the group, we got a couple bonuses that even Chris doesn't know about yet. Ooh. And we're going to go ahead and bless you with. All right. Go ahead and hop on that, guys. Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. We're here for here. You heard? That wasn't part of the read, but go ahead.
Listen, it works. Oh, gosh. The sponsors. Hey, listen, we got to add our flair to it anyway. Make it happen.
That's right.
Into the segment we call Shop Talk.
Shop Talk.
We're getting there. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about LeBron, but let's talk about LeBron and Bronny. They've been in the news a bit for this past couple weeks Why? Because they've had some good stuff. One, LeBron, for those of you that didn't know, LeBron and the Lakers, let's say that, LeBron and the Lakers
That's right.
actually just won the NBA in-season tournament championship. Some of y'all that are not avid basketball fans probably have no idea what that's about, but either way, it is a tournament that was played in the season. The NBA is trying to promote it. LeBron really put we'll talk about it, but LeBron really put on a show. He was really excited about it. People were saying he was selling it like he's getting more money than what the rest of the team might be getting for promoting it. But either way, the Lakers won. They are going to raise that banner apparently in the Staples Center or in the, is it still the crypto arena? Crypto.com
Yeah, it's the
arena?
crypto.com arena. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so right, they're probably gonna raise the banner over that side, and then you guys know last week on our episode we talked about what when Bronny James makes his debut for USC, if it was right for LeBron to miss the game because he had already said and he already told the team, listen, when my son debuts, I'm out, like family over everything. I don't think there was the conflict though, because I think he showed up. They weren't having a game during that day, but Bronny showed up. But LeBron showed up to the game. Bronny, I don't know his stat line, but I saw some highlights. Looked like he did well. USC took a L on that game, but I think it was a bittersweet moment for LeBron to see his son back out there on the court. What's up with the James family, man? What's your 2 cents on kind of
They
what's going
are
on?
the James family are absolutely winning big
Winning.
time. Okay. So he wins the in-season tournament. That's a win. He gets AD, who can either be all day or always disappointing, to show up and drop 40-25, right? That's 40 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 assists, or 5 blocks, actually, I believe it was.
Blocks, yeah.
Which is a crazy stat line to win the game. He wins the MVP, he being LeBron James. Then later, I believe in the same day, gets to go see Bronny play in his first game ever at USC, right? He now wins the first ever in-season tournament, which the NBA is determined to make a big deal because they're going to cash out in the next negotiation with the media companies. And on top of that, he gets to put his name on the map again, historically speaking. There's only one first. And in Vegas, where he is fighting hard, pushing hard, getting his nuggets in a row or whatever, ducats in a row to get a team there, an NBA team in Vegas, which I believe will happen. Because if you're not going to give LeBron James a team in Vegas, who are you going to give it to? Right? Who are you going to give it to? So I believe this man is incredibly strategic, right? You can hate him all you want, but he knows how to make history. He knows he has a knack for history, right? I believe he senses these moments, he senses these things. And kudos to the man. He is writing an incredible narrative. And at this point, he's playing chess and everybody's playing checkers.
Yeah, man. I second that. I love how you put it, right? James family is winning. It's always good to see people winning. Man, father and son. Son gets a chance to get back out on the court, right? Gets a couple blocks, knocks down a shot, right? He's got some good stuff going on. Obviously, going to continue to evolve and play. I know that that's what LeBron had said at one point. I don't know if he's still thinking that, but like I know he wants to retire after Bronny comes into the league and they get a chance to play together. So hopefully they can make that happen and a reality. Because man, he's just right in the history books, man. Right in the history books. That's what we talk about when we talk about the good life and building this legacy. Man, LeBron James, kudos to him and Gloria James's mom, right? And his wife, right? Like it's not just LeBron, obviously. You got to have a team of people around you that are doing that. And they are just appear to be right. They appear to be doing it, man. They appear
Killing
to
it.
be making it happen, and so kudos to them. Right, nothing negative to say about these guys and their family unit and how they are continuing to progress in life on the basketball court and off of it. So
That's
nothing
right.
but love to the James family. Keep doing the great work. Obviously, we're gonna continue to see him grow, and yeah. What is it going to look like when he retires and he has that team in Vegas? What's
Let me tell you
Vegas
this
going to
right now.
become? My gosh,
Incredible.
Vegas.
Incredible because it's literally la la land, right?
Yeah.
Or, it's literally magical land, right? So we'll see what it's come. The last piece on LeBron here, man, it's show me another superstar of his caliber to
Mhm.
do, to fulfill on the promise, right, of the chosen one tattooed on his back to not only fulfill on the legacy, to bring a championship to his hometown, to go bring a championship to every town that he's been to bring his childhood friends with him and to establish them to the level that they've established themselves independently, to have no beef with any of them, no rift that we can sense of any of them, to have your family unit progress like they've progressed, to have no big like embarrassing scandals. Man, listen, this dude is like it's almost like he's a robot, it doesn't even make any
Almost.
sense. I can't
Almost.
think of a single superstar, right, who has done this. Not one. Not a one. Jordan, not even close in terms of off the court. Not even close, right?
Mhm.
Tom Brady, not close in terms of off the court. Okay, off the court. I don't know. I don't know Tom Brady's friends. You know what I'm saying? He chose football over his family, right? Giselle left this man. Okay, she said bye bye. I'm gonna go have an entanglement. Okay, Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know any of his homies that he brought up like that still doing the thing. He didn't win no championship, right? He got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me the legacy this man is leaving. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. So, on and off the court, in my opinion, although I think there's a very, very undeniable, strong argument that Michael Jordan, 6 of 6, 6 MVPs, is probably on the court, got the argument to edge out LeBron. Totality of career, totality of lifetime achievements.
Mhm.
We know you're not gonna see LeBron looking like he's been drinking tequila 24/7 like you see Michael Jordan, eyes all pitch red and looking like face all swollen and stuff. Chuck Barkley looking like he's having an aneurysm on the golf course, all throwing people through the glass window. Like what like who? Kobe getting caught, out in Utah, wherever he was, putting things where they shouldn't be going. You know what I'm saying? It's just, shout out, bro. Shout out to my man,
Listen,
what I'm saying? Kobe being bright. I'm just saying, it's like for LeBron to have the career that he's have is nothing short of like the most amazing story in sports.
absolutely. I second that. It almost leads me to wonder, like, is someone protecting? Is someone overseeing this career? Because it's happened to way too many people to be like, man, this guy made it through blemish free, like not even an allegation, not even like
Not a
anybody
one.
trying to
Not a
come,
one.
trying to come and be like, hey, he was here, like nothing, like even if
Nah.
he's stand up, like nobody's even trying it. It's
Nah.
like
And the thing that's crazy too is if you watch this man play at 38, I believe, maybe
mhm,
going on 39 or so,
38, I think. Yeah.
honestly, like he does obviously he doesn't
Yeah.
look like Miami Heat LeBron, right? He doesn't, but he looks almost like better in,
Yeah.
in in terms of like just the polish, right? What he's lost in athleticism, he's gained in like just mastery of the game.
Yeah. And
It's a beautiful
mastery of
thing to
his
watch,
body,
man.
body control, like all of it, right?
It's crazy.
He's a wise guy, man. And
We gotta give that man his credit. I aspire to be the LeBron James of corporate athletes.
yeah,
Right. I aspire. That if I had that would be my goal. The corporate athlete, the LeBron James of corporate athletes, man. And what that comes with is longevity. That's one thing I always point out. LeBron, and people say, oh yeah, well, his genetics are not. Yeah. Okay, fair. He won the genetic lottery. Fair, fair, Fair. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to work, but people don't want to point to that. They want to go straight to genetics because it makes them feel better about themselves. Okay, fine. What about Tom Brady? What about Tom Brady? Did he win the genetic lottery? Is that your argument? No? Okay. Well, I've watched this man literally reverse age, playing one of the most violent sports out there. What about him? Mm-hmm. All right. And people point to all kinds of, oh, he has a lot of money to take care. Oh, okay. Okay. So we just going to make excuses for everything, right? Mm-hmm. You know, come on, y'all. So it tells you that there is a way. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not. They've made sacrifices. He said he gets his 8 hours of sleep. How does that man get 8 hours of sleep and do everything he needs to do in a day? Ask yourself that, right? So, you know, I believe as corporate athletes, as we point to, you know, people who don't play a professional sport for a living, we work for a living, meaning whether we're entrepreneurs, whether we go to a 9-to-5 for another company, whatever, we just don't play pro sports. Can we adopt the mentality of some of these top individuals who are putting on a show for us? Can we adopt some of their behavior? Can we adopt the way their mindset, the way they look at things, the way they approach things? Can we adopt those things and elevate ourselves that way? You know, I believe we can.
So, man, I think so. Great stuff. Let's dive into the next segment of our show. We call it 2 by 2.
2 by 2.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time for our 2 by 2 segment where we give tips and advice to entrepreneurs, business owners, and anyone looking to improve their lifestyle. Today, talking about the college myth, right? There's a myth out there. We were talking about this off camera a bit, and obviously this is a conversation we've had a few times here on The Good Life. But just, we talked about the pressures of people going to college, the pressures of children, of kids, right? High school seniors, whatever the case is, being kind of pushed to go this direction of college and seeing if this is really still the fit, right? There's some things that we think that, you know, 20-something-year-olds need to hear when it comes to what their options are. So, Coach, take 2 minutes and talk a little bit about this, like the pressures of college and the college myth and kind of what we're talking about with kids here.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about this pretty often. So let me summarize it for all of us and for those who are maybe joining the show for the first time. We'll point to the fact that a number of agents, if you will, are in cahoots with each other. Parents are in cahoots. The government is in cahoots. Colleges are in cahoots. High school guidance counselors are in cahoots. The loan system, right? Whatever you want to call that, right? The federal loan system, they're in cahoots.
Student aid.
Student aid. Okay, so student aid, they're in cahoots. There's other friends and family are in cahoots. Everybody's been brainwashed and they're in cahoots, and many benefit monetarily. Many benefit in terms of social currency on just shipping and pushing our students from high school into college. In fact, if you go to a quote unquote really good high school, one of the measures of a really good high school is how many students graduate and go on to a respectable 4-year university and either are in the arts, right, or in the engineering or some sort of things of that nature. But we know most students are going into the arts, getting completely worthless degrees or slightly worthless degrees like I did that have nothing to do with anything, don't get you any money, don't make you any don't get you any type of real jobs, and saddle them with the only type of debt in which they can't get rid of in bankruptcy. Guys, when you really look at it, when we take the emotions out of it and we take a sober outlook and we look at this, what we see is a gigantic fraud. What we see is a massive, massive scam. And it's getting worse because the education itself is getting worse. The degrees have hit high levels of inflation. They ain't worth the paper that they're printed on. And the pipelines that are being established, unless you're at Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, maybe we'll throw in Stanford for good luck. It doesn't make any sense. Unless you're an engineer, right? Learning a specific applicable skill, unless you end up going to law school, which in by itself, unless you go to big law, is a fraud. Unless you go to medical school, which I don't care what you do, is still a fraud and a scam. It doesn't make any sense, guys. And I think it's time for us to talk about what are their alternative for our students, right? It's not just don't go down that path. It's also consider this path as well. How about we start to, at the high school level, there are other examples across the world, right? Where we can start them earlier on, getting them into productive paths, such as actually developing a skill, a real skill that they can monetize. And we always pair that up with entrepreneurship skills as well, so they can go out in the world and do some things. How about we do that? But you see, the truth of the matter is most of you guys are watching this right now, and even you, my friends, even you, members of the Good Life family, are going to push back a little bit because the programming is so strong. The programming is so strong, right? This is something we're going to continue to talk about because we all know deep down that there's something wrong with the system, but it takes it's going to take a lot of people to speak about it continuously for it to actually be a change. And it's time for us to really take a closer look at this, guys.
Man, again, we've talked about it and that's spot on. I'm going to give this take really quick because the reason why we decided to talk about this off camera, we were having this conversation, and there was an example given where a young lady is going to school. She's in college right now. She's just finishing up her first year or just in her first year or something like that. And she's already decided to switch her major. And when we were talking about it, I was like, oh, she should just drop out. Right? She should just drop out right now. And that sparked this conversation of like how difficult that will be for her because of the societal pressures, because of her parents, because of, right, her people around her and all those things. But yet I personally believe that would be the right thing for that young lady. If you go to college, let's walk this scenario out very quickly. If you're going to pay money, whether you are borrowing that money or that money is coming from your family, it doesn't matter. But if you are going to pay money to go to a place to get a degree, and you find out very early that that's not the degree that you want, literally, like you know how long it takes for you to like pick the major and like plan for that college. Like you've been thinking about this for a year and a half, 2 years, potentially 3 years. You finally get there, you're halfway through and you're like, this isn't the major that I want. And now you're about to switch into a major that probably doesn't make more money than what you had originally went there for. Now you're about to potentially waste money to get a degree that you're not even going to use because you're clearly unsure about what it is that you want to make happen. So why are we paying money to do that? Let's just stop the process now. Let's go make some money. Let's go get paid to do something. Let's go create that skill set. Let's go find a job. Let's go job hop a couple times. And let's figure out really what we want to do instead of just paying more money to kind of keep flowing down this system, right? And then we get to senior year and we really don't know what we want to do. Yet now we've had the last 4 years to kind of play school. Let's just stop it right away. And when we were having that conversation, that's when we got into this place of most people won't do that, right? Just because the societal pressures are too strong for them to be like, I changed my mind. I don't want to do this anymore. So there's that whole time of coming into college, but then also once you're there, the amount of people that are like, I don't really like this. Like, I'm going to switch my major. And then they just pick some other major. I think they're missing the mark. I think it's like, no. I don't think you want to be in college. It's not about a major. Like, I don't think like this thing is going to pan out for you and you start to see it. So why not just start something different, drop out, go get a job, start working, do some other things to learn a skill set. But that's really hard for a lot of 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds to actually do because of the societal pressures. And we got to make a shift, guys. We got to make a change. We got to give this next generation the opportunity to say there's many ways to make it happen. I'm going to pick the way that's best for me, my skill set, my life, what I want to make happen. College doesn't have to be the only way. So that's our 2 cents on. There we go. That was our 2 cents on college. Coach, are you mad? Let's go into our next segment because I feel like you might have a brief thing to say of why you're mad. So, our next segment, why you mad, Coach? There's a lot of noise in this world, and somebody's got to call it out. So, lucky for us, Coach hates noise. So, Coach, real quick, man, tell us why you're mad.
Guys, before I say this, I think it's important for me to say I recognize that a lot of us, many of us have been touched by cancer, and it's always tough to lose an individual family member or to watch a family member struggle. And that is exactly why I'm upset. That's exactly why I'm mad, because it is difficult, and I feel like we're being bamboozled. This is the season where, for example, ESPN and a bunch of other groups and whatnot will beg and plead and tug at your heartstrings to go ahead and open your wallets and make a donation towards cancer research, which is so important. And nobody is allowed to question anything going on with cancer research. Well, I'm going to question it because where the hell is all that money going? Can we get a report? I've been hearing about cancer research since I moved to the United States in 1999. Okay. Have we made any progress? What's going on? Right? Usually when you make a donation to some cause, right, you will hear that, oh man, here is where the money is going. Here are some of the improvement. But it seems like we're in the same damn place year after year. And how much money is going? I remember telethons and people on television and huge effects and bake show, all types of stuff. I was changing my tire, getting my car service. And right here, as I'm sitting there getting my car service, I see a sign that says, help cancer research and make a donation. And I'm sitting there thinking, goodness gracious, this thing is everywhere in our society. And me being a student of health knows that sickness is not as normal as we've made it out to be. Oh, everybody gets sick. It's just, you never know when it's going to hit you. I'm calling bullshit. Okay? Because we've normalized just sick. You know what's normal? And we see this around the world. You can study the blue zones, do it. You know what's normal? Somebody lives a great life. They might have a few issues here and there, but they don't struggle for 20, 30 years before they tragically pass away in one of the most painful, tragic ways possible, while they're forking over and benefiting hundreds and thousands of dollars to the system that God only knows where all that money is going, right? What's normal is they'll go, people will go on long, live a nice, long life, and you won't even know something is wrong. Maybe a week or two, and they might pass away peacefully in their sleep. That's normal. Okay? It's not normal for every other day for 27-year-olds and 37-year-olds to be getting sick. And we find out colon cancer and pancreatic cancer. And that's not normal. That is a symptom of a sick world. And somebody has to call it out. Because that money, instead of going towards solving the symptoms, could be going towards actually going and curing the roots of what's causing these things. But nobody wants to talk about that. So I'm going to talk about it. And if you want to send your hate mail, send it to me.
Hate. But that's okay. We don't need to send the hate mail because I'm sure there's a lot of people that actually agree with you. Where is that money going? We got to figure that out. Shout out to Dougal over there talking about having no hope for the future. Dougal, can't wait to have you on the show, man. We're going to talk about it, brother. We're going to talk about it. Got to have some hope for the future, but it's looking bad out there. I understand you completely. Another word from our sponsors.
That's right, guys. Organizing and planning your financial future can seem overwhelming. Boy, do we know. But we have good news. There's help. Author, podcaster, and financial preparedness advocate Tony Stir, I believe, has developed the Get Ready Blueprint, a 52-week blueprint guide to changing the way you think about money to empower and educate our readers on topics ranging from personal finance to insurance. With simple to follow lessons, achievable and attainable goals, and helpful tips, you'll feel motivated, inspired as you watch your financial legacy grow each week. Just use the link in the description to get your copy today. Guys, make sure you pick that up for 2024.
That's right. That's right, y'all. Go pick that up. Shout out to Aaron over there in the Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals group dropping the comment. That's right. We see you, Aaron. You're right. Some of these degrees make you no money, right? We already know some of these degrees are making you no money. He knows. He said, as a working artist, he said, arts degrees ain't worth crap unless you want to teach in a university. So go to trade school. Coming from a working artist, he's telling you. Right. So that's right. Guys, into our actual show right now, to the things that we have been talking about over the past couple weeks, the foundations, the fundamentals, the basics that we need to build on in our health and our wealth. Guys, Kabi and I decided to say, hey, we wanted to make sure that all of you understood exactly where we sit on the sides of health and wealth, that we talk about the foundations, the basics, the things that, as Kabi would say, 20% of the things that bring you 80% of the results, right? We're trying to show you the things that you need to go off and do to build to where you want to go in the health and the wealth side. We've had a couple weeks talking, one week talking finance, 1 week talking health. We're coming back this week as we wrap up 2023. Depending on when you're listening to this, this might be right at the very end of 2023, and you are planning for 2024 and what that's going to look like for you. So from a financial standpoint, I just wanted to drop 3 different areas in that foundation that you really want to start to have a more well thought out plan moving forward. Okay, just know, when you are heading into a brand new year, heading into a brand new month, you get a chance to reset. You get a chance to start over. You get a chance to say, hey, what really is important? What is it that I'm trying to make happen? What have I done this past year or this past month? And what do I need to do moving forward? So planning, writing things down, this stuff is incredibly important. So I'm going to go over just 3 of the areas I think you should have a plan moving forward in your financial life. This is not going to come as a surprise to those of you that have been following and listening to us here on The Good Life, because we might sound like broken records because we say the same stuff over and over and over again. You know why? Because it's effective and it works. It's the right stuff, right? So when we talk about planning on the financial side, here's a couple things I want you to think about as we head into a brand new year. Number 1, have some cash flow goals. Cash flow goals. Okay. Sometimes we just have the goals on the back end where it's, hey, this is how much I want to be able to, right, kind of budgeted numbers, right? This is how much I'd like to spend in certain areas. This is how much I only want to designate for certain areas. Sure. But when I say cash flow goal, I want you to have an income cash flow goal. We're going to help you think more entrepreneur minded. When we go out and we start coaching people in the financial space specifically, I'm always fired up when I get a chance to coach entrepreneurs. You know why? Because entrepreneurs know they have the ability to go make more money. A lot of times when you're at a job, you're not really thinking of it. You hope you can make some more money, right? You hope you get the raise. You hope you work hard enough and the bonus comes in, right? Like you're kind of hoping for those things. But in general, no matter really how hard you work, you don't get that same paycheck every 2 weeks, every week, every month, depending on how you get paid. But when you step into this entrepreneur world, you control your income. You control how much money you make. You control how much you choose to bring in that month by your work ethic, by what you do. So this year, heading into 2024, y'all, number 1, make an income goal, a cash flow goal, an income monthly goal. Hey, I need to make X amount every month. That's the goal. That's the plan. That's what we're headed towards. I don't think oftentimes we focus too much on the top end of cash flow, like how much comes in, because many of us come from scarcity mindset, come from an area where we're like, hey, let me just, sock this away for reserves, or let me budget and cut some things down. But man, what would it feel like to make 20 grand in a month for some of you? Right? What would that feel like to consistently just, you have the ability to bring in 20 grand? What if that's the goal? 20 grand monthly income. Now, you might not know how you're going to get there right away, but I promise if you write it down and you start to look at it, you're going to start to develop some thoughts and ideas on how to go get that 20 grand a month if that's the goal. Maybe your goal is just to bring in an extra $3,000 a month. Some people, right? You just want to. I just need an extra 3 grand to get me over the hump. The hump. Some people just need a little bit. Well, write it down. The question is, though, do you have an income goal? That's one of the things I want you to focus on, Coach. How has that been in your life? Obviously, you're an entrepreneur, so the income side of things, have you focused a lot on like, man, I need to make X amount this month, or has it been more about I need to get the business rolling and kind of as it comes, it comes? How do you look at like the cash flow goal side?
Previously I've been as it comes, it comes. But it's interesting you bring that up now, OG, because I've actually making a pretty hard pivot to having very specific income goals as we move into next year. Right. And it's funny you mentioned this 20,000 because we're actually going for that and beyond.
There we
All
go.
right.
There we go.
And in a more and I've had pretty good months. I've had months up to 37,000, 40,000 months, but the consistency of it is where we're pushing for moving forward. Is can we have 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month consistently with on tap, all right, meaning reoccurring. And that's really kind of the shift, the mindset shift. I believe we put the things in place where we will be able to help enough people to produce that. And so that is, it's funny you mentioned that in the show, guys. Is we know obviously I have an idea of what OG is going to be talking about, but that is how we're shifting. And oh man, you don't force me to put it into the ether. So now I gotta be done. Now I gotta be done. So we're putting it out consistently, and we have a strategy that I feel very good about in terms of making that work. And I think if what I realize is, oh, if it'll come, will come. Yeah. Well, it may also not come.
Right.
Right. Are you okay with that?
That's
right. So then we focus on, okay, let's make it happen. It's a different energy. It's a different energy as we're moving that forward rather than if it comes, it comes. So that's definitely the number one focus moving into 2024 here at the CTN Health and Wealth Academy.
I love it. I love it. And for all you other entrepreneurs, business owners out there, again, just give yourself something to shoot for, y'all. Right? Of course, you're building a business. Of course, you got to be patient. Of course, if it comes, it comes for sure. For those of you that are connected in your faith life, of course, God is going to provide. And right, things are going to work out as long as you do the work. But you got to put down something on paper to say, this is how much we need to bring in. Like, this is a revenue goal from our business. This is a personal income goal. This is how much my family needs. And shoot for the stars. Shoot for the stars. Don't worry. Don't say, I think I might be able to bring in another $500 every month. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you could. Right. But man, what would it look like if, like could be say you're bringing in 30, 40 consistently? How would your financial life be different? How would your family life be different? How would your health life be different if you had all of the cash flow that you needed? So heading into 2024, y'all, have a cash flow goal, an income goal for your cash flow. Number one, okay? Number two, second part of a goal or a financial part of your financial plan, let's talk about that saving and investing side. Same thing. Need to have a savings goal. How much liquid cash money will you have saved by X date? Let's say let's take it in 6 month chunks, right? Let's say by July 1st, 2024, how much will you have cash, liquid cash savings, right? Ask like things that you can touch, not equity in your house or right, like not net worth conversation. Stone cold, like I got money, cash. What do you want to see that savings account look like? What is it going to be January 1st, 2024? When are you going to have your first 50 grand saved? When are you going to have your first 20 grand saved for some of y'all? Some of y'all, when are you going to have your, right, your 6 months of emergency fund set aside? Write it down, y'all. This is the financial plan you got to be focused on. It's not good enough to just say, hey, I'm going to save some more money this year. Hey, I'm going to start really investing some money this year. How much? And what are you trying to get to? We got to have a plan. So start with that short-term investing side. How much actual liquid cash are you going to have set aside by a certain date? And then also look at your investing side. Some of you that are, right, you've been following what we say, right, how we're building this here. You got to make sure your cash flow is good on the bottom. Then you got to get to that emergency fund savings. You got to get to that 3 to 6 months. But as you're working on that 3 to 6 months, maybe you don't have any debts and other things. Maybe you should be putting some aside long term. Maybe you should be putting some away in your Roth IRA or your cash value life insurance or your 401k, your SEP IRA, or wherever you're putting it so you can get some investment money going, so you can have some compound interest going. Well, how much do you want to have there? Write the number down, have a goal, and then once you have that set, then take a look. What do I got to do every month? Here's a quick tip. It's probably going to come back to your cash flow, right? It's probably going to come back to your cash flow according to how much you could put aside a month. It's a big difference to be able to, from saving $1,000 a month versus saving $10,000 a month. Big difference. But where are you going to be? Short-term savings, you need a number. By when? This is how much me and my family is going to have saved by this time. Investment number for those of you that are investing. Hey, I'm going to have X amount in investments. I'm going to buy my first property. I'm going to, whatever that investment side is for you, write that down as well. But go into 2024 having a goal for your saving and investing side of things. Thoughts on that, Coach?
I think it's huge because you don't have a target. How you know if you hit it?
Right.
My question for you actually on that is it's having a lump sum target, obviously great. What about either in addition to or in place of having a rate of savings, right? Saying that I'm putting away 10% of everything that comes in, regardless of what happens every single month. Should one have both of those? A rate of savings, right? I'm putting away. I got an automatic setup withdrawal that goes every single month. Bam. 2,000 every single month, 3,000 every single month, which is 10% of X every single month going in. I don't even think about it. I don't even look at the account. It just goes automatic.
That's a great question. There's two sides to this. Yes, we want to make sure that we can have something that says, I'm going to stay consistent doing X amount. If it happens to be 10%, if it happens to be a certain dollar amount, great. That's going to be a good way to start on top of that lump sum number of saying, I want to have X amount there. Here's what I've also found, though, in the past, is that sometimes when we have that 10% every month, that monthly thing, it's easier for us to slip. Because we're going to have that 1 month, right? That April comes in and finances were just all wacky and you really couldn't put away what you wanted to. And sometimes that sets us back in our goal setting, right? Sometimes it's like, you know what? I was planning on doing 10% and then this happened. So now I can't do any of it. So now I feel like a failure because I didn't do what I said. And people aren't always the greatest with adjusting the numbers and giving themselves grace, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you should do, right? If that is the scenario, then you say, you know what, I'm going to do 10%. I'm going to put away $1,000 a month or 10% every month. Great. And then you have that rough month and it doesn't go the way you want to. Give yourself grace and then get right back on track. Absolutely. You should. But typically just from a human perspective, because that's what we're trying to do, help people on the human side. Like sometimes it's tougher to manage the month to month because of the ups and downs of life, especially as entrepreneurs, than it would be to be like, this is the ultimate goal. So let me just plan and get to that. But that's a great
Yeah,
question, man.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. One thing that's helped us personally in our household is, I honestly haven't even looked at this in like probably like 2 years. Yes, I should inspect. I understand. I understand.
Thank you. Okay.
But
All right. All right. All right.
it's an automatic pull every single month, and an automatic pull to an Ally account, ally.com,
Mhm.
and it automatically pulls a certain amount every single month, and it's been doing that for 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And that account is just like it's just there,
Kudos.
just set up.
Even without inspecting, right? The money's
Right.
going the money's going there. So kudos to y'all for being consistent over that time, right? That's the key. And if you can do that, and if you can set up your life that your income is consistent and your spending can be consistent so that your savings can be consistent, then absolutely. It's a great way to go about it. It's a great way to go
Yeah.
about it
But it comes down to cash flow, right? Because
every time.
see, if cash flow is consistent and growing, you really will not backslip.
That's
Really,
right.
if you
That's right.
set that up as an automatic withdrawal,
That's right.
I just get the email. This has been withdrawn. You're like, oh, okay, well that's good.
That's it.
That's still happening.
It's the way it works. It's the way it works. Good stuff. Here's the third and final one. Some of y'all could have guessed it. I'll tell it to you. Need to have a debt goal. Some of you are sitting in debt. So when's your debt freedom day? When's your debt freedom day? Can it be in 2024? Can 2024 be the year that you are debt free? That you pay off the credit cards, that the car gets paid? Maybe not the house. I understand, right? There's a lot of wealthy people that like that's all they got. It's just the mortgage because they got it at 4%. It don't really necessarily they get some extra write-offs on it. Doesn't necessarily make sense to just pay it all off with their cash. So maybe we want to hold on to the house if you got a nice interest rate. It's not breaking the bank. But can we get rid of all the other debt? Can student loan go away? Can credit card go away? Can we do it by the end of the year? Can we do it halfway through the year? Can we write it down and put it on paper? That's what you got to do. You got to have a debt freedom day. You got to have a plan to say, you know what? You're going to be debt free by this day. And then we're going to start executing on it. We're going to start working on it. Again, it's all going to come back to cash flow. It's all going to come back to how much is coming in, how much is going out. That's why we start there. But you still need a target. You still need to know, okay, this is what I'm getting out. So you can always read that and see that and know that you're putting money towards your debt freedom day. So that self-explanatory, you should know, hey, I want to be out of debt. I don't want to be paying people this interest rate. I don't want to be paying these banks this interest for a real long period of time. I'm trying to get some interest. I'm trying to go invest so I can get 15% interest somewhere instead of giving 29% to my credit card. Okay? That's how you want to think about it. But that's the 101. I'm going to talk to some of y'all at the 202. You don't have any consumer debt. Sure, you might want to pay off that car. Fine. You might want to start, paying some extra payments to the house. Got it. But maybe for you, it's about how much open lines of credit are we offered, right? Right now, you might have $20,000 of credit, right? Lines of credit in credit cards or whatever the case is. But you also are thinking about starting a business, right? You're out of debt. You're probably saving some money, probably investing some money. So if you got some good credit, why not build? Why not have these banks give you another $100,000 and just let it sit on the side? You don't have to use it. You don't have to use it. But I promise you, it might put you in a position when you have that right investment come up that you can actually pull the trigger because you've done the right things. You now have accumulated more lines of credit. You've accumulated more access to capital because you've done the right thing. So maybe you need to have a goal of how much access to capital you have. That's a 202 level. If you're already in debt, let's not focus on that one yet, okay? This is just for people that are out of consumer debt. You don't have any of it. So we got to think, well, what do we need to do to start building? Well, you know, if you follow the good life, we talk short-term, mid-term, long-term investing. So if you have no debt, your cash flow will then go to short-term and long-term first. As you build that short-term, eventually you're going to start looking at that mid-term, that 2 to 10 year investment, the real estate, the equities, the buying of businesses, the cryptos, the tradings, all that stuff, 2 to 10 years. So why not put yourself in a position where a bank, a lender will give you access to that capital this year? Maybe you don't pull the trigger till 2025. Right? Maybe you're not buying that house until, or maybe you're not buying that investment property for a couple years. Maybe you're not buying that business for 18 months, but at least you're putting yourself in a position to be able to do that when the time is right because your foundations are good. So for those of you at the 202 level of debt, maybe you need a line of credit goal, access to capital goal, and just have that set aside. What would it feel like if you had 5 credit cards with each with $20,000 limits, and they're just sitting on the side? You don't need to touch them. You don't need to do anything with them, but you got access to it when you need it. I think that is your third and final goal that you need to have. So those three, again, just to run it back, you need a cash flow goal, specifically an income goal for you employees. I know that might be tough to think about, but I encourage you, think more entrepreneurially. You have the ability to control your financial life, skill sets, talents, hobbies, things that you can see. You might be able to bring in an extra $2,000-$3,000 a month. But how do we really get to the big numbers? How do we get to $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 a month? Put that in as a plan. Number two, your savings and investing. What's the number? How much are you going to have saved by when? How much in that investment account by when? Or like could be said, how much are we putting away on a monthly basis to make sure that we're staying consistent? And then number three, that debt number. When is our debt freedom day? When are we out of debt completely? Can we make it in 2024? And if you're already currently out of debt, and you're like, that's not me. Well, then how are we leveraging our credit? How are we leveraging what we've done good in our financial life to go off and build something that does generate us and build us wealth? Those are the three things I want y'all to think about as we head into 2024, because it's right here, y'all. It's a brand new year coming up, and you have the ability to impact your financial life just by doing some basic things, just writing some goals and focusing on a few things. Don't worry about the super complex strategies. Let's keep this basic. Let's work on your fundamentals and the foundations. I promise you it's going to take you to the next level in your financial life and also in your health life as you follow those things as well. So
love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Thanks for breaking it down, OG. And guys, listen, this is in my opinion, man, I know it's health and wealth, but in my opinion, this is also part of being healthy. Because if you are stressed out about money, if you can't take care of yourself and your family, being healthy is real hard. It's real hard. It's real hard. If you can't buy organic food, it's tough. It's tough, right? If you can't live in a safe place, it's tough. All right. If you can't provide for yourself, your kids, your partners, etc., it's tough. That's all part of the stress. That'll age you quick. That'll lower your immune system quick. So thank you for breaking it down. I think those are three very actionable steps people can take. I took a few notes here and made a few notes on my calendar that I'll be taking actions on. I'll be making a couple of calls, in the new year here, specifically on January 4th. And we're going to get a few things in place here, guys. So we hope that you will continue to join us as we elevate both in our health and wealth. And last take from you, OG.
2024 is a brand new year, y'all. It's a brand new year. If you want different results, you got to do something different. More of the same equals more of the same. Not having a clarity on your goals is a surefire way to not hit them. So let's make sure we are writing down, getting clear on exactly what we want to make happen, especially in our financial life and also in our health life. Let's write it down. Let's have a plan for it. Let's go out next year and let's execute on it. You know that we're here to make that happen with you. We're on the journey with you also, but we got to go execute, y'all. That's it.
Love it. Love it. We'll be bringing you a lot more of these episodes as we lay out the 20% blueprint, the 20% knowledge part. But 80% is behavior, guys. So counting on you to go ahead and implement on that 80% and tap in the Facebook community, especially from Instagram here. It's pinned. It might be pinned on TikTok. It's definitely going to be in the group, obviously, and it's going to be everywhere that you're going to find us, YouTube. And make sure that you share this with somebody. Give them the blueprint as well, and let them help you, hold you accountable in the behavior, the 80% part of it. And guys, we're going to keep coming 2024. We're just going to elevate, guys. We're just getting started. We appreciate you for joining us. Thank you for your time this time. And until next time, peace.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.
Welcome to the good life.